Welcome back to What to Eat Part 3. Now we want to talk about addictive ingredients. So, as I mentioned in the last video, sugar plus fat or carbohydrate plus fat, when combined, is ideal for fat storage. So, we really don't want to be eating sugar with fat. Research has also shown that when we eat foods that have sugar plus fat in the same meal, we tend to eat more. We eat beyond the point of satisfied, a little bit out of control. So there are certain ingredients that when they are in foods can make us feel a little bit out of control because of what happens when we eat that individual food, but when they're combined, the synergy makes us feel a little bit crazy. So these ingredients are flour, like white flour that's been stripped of all nutrition, sugar, could also be corn syrup, especially if it's in a liquid like a soda, and then MSG. And then when these, which are the sugar or carbohydrate, are combined with fat, this is ideal for fat storage and it makes our brain go just a little crazy, like we want more. So a great example would be cookies. Cookies have the flour, they have the sugar. We'll put a touch of salt in for even more flavor. And then we've got the fat added. And a lot of times we'll start to eat this and we feel just like we can't stop, like we feel out of control. If you have a specific food that you feel that way with, I call that a trigger food. So this would be trigger food and it's specific to you. For me, it's cookies, especially if they're homemade. So know what your trigger food is. Some people might say it's potato chips and you've got the fat, you've got the sugar, the carbohydrate there, and then it's added a little bit of salt and the feeling is just feeling out of control. You just can't stop eating potato chips. You just can't eat one. That's actually the slogan. So food manufacturers know that when they combine flour and sugar and salt and fat, we're just going to want to keep eating it. Why did they put these foods combinations together? Well, it's a business and they're trying to make money and get us addicted to their specific foods. So, I mean, we can't fault them for that, but we can be smart enough to know, wow, when I have this combination, I feel out of control and I eat more than my body needs. Almost all of these foods are processed foods. The flour and the sugar, anything that's a white powder, probably also been bleached as well as refined. So it's going to have like zero nutrition, and all it's going to do is like light up our Christmas tree pleasure centers in our brain with all the tinsel and all the lights going, and we are going to feel out of control. So it's not that we can't ever have these foods, but when you are having, like, just say you were having bread, which is basically going to be the flour, maybe a touch of sugar and some salt, just don't have it with the fat. So could you have your bread with jam? Could you have your bread with some honey? Could you have your bread with maybe some lean meat, some lean protein? So you just want to avoid that sugar fat combination. But some of you might say, wow, I can't just eat one slice of bread. I want the whole loaf. When the food ingredients are combined, like the cookie, you might say, I can't eat one cookie. I feel out of control. That is an addictive type food. And I call that the drug. For me, cookies are the drug. I stay away from the cookies. If I'm having a cookie, I will know that it's going to be at the end of my meal after I've had veggies and maybe some protein of less of a surge of blood sugar. And if I can stop with one, that's great. So, not that you can't have foods that have addictive ingredients, but I just want you to know that it's not your fault when you feel out of control when the food manufacturers have combined any of these ingredients. MSG is one of those that's added mostly to snack foods like Dots pretzels or Doritos or Cheetos or things like that. And sometimes Chinese food will have it. They're using less of it in Chinese food now. It's a flavor enhancer. I can always tell when something has MSG because I can't stop eating it. I'm like, this is so good. What is in this? Ranch dressing that, a lot of people have a love of ranch dressing. It has MSG in it. So figure out what your trigger food is. Figure out if this food combination is making you feel a little bit like it's taking you off of your plan, and tend to Keep these foods out of your diet or very limited or at the very end of a meal, and always keeping the carbohydrate away from the fat for the most part. Okay, see you in the next one.